Paul says the first casualty of the Pep reign of England would be Cole Palmer. He let him go to Chelsea because of his refusal to track back. Pep expects every player to work both offensively and defensively. Cole Palmer thinks he's above this, says Paul. There would be, do you know what? I'm not saying it's Cole Palmer. There would be, I'll tell you, it would be fascinating to see a team that he picks, because I bet you there'll be one or two noses definitely out of joint.
Oh, well, there would, but he's never been afraid of doing that at City either, has he? Jake, the Arsenal fan, don't forget, Pep would already have half his first 11 as Man City and Arsenal players, so he'd already have a head start in having players to play in the way he would like to set up. Let's take a call on this one. Steve is a Man City fan. Morning, Steve.
Morning, guys. How are you doing?
Yeah, very
Morning,
good.
Steve.
Yeah, I suppose you're probably going to take another perspective as a City fan. How would you feel about losing Pep?
I think it's my question is threefold, basically. One, I think it should be an English manager. Two, I think it's disrespectful to Manchester City as a club. And three, I think Pep would get bored, to be honest. I think he wouldn't have that time to nurture players. When City buy a player, it takes them 12 months to bed in, to get them going. And I think that's what Pep brings to the table. I think he'd be bored at England. And I do feel sorry for Carsley, because he's been asked to put all these superstar players in by peer pressure, and it's just not worked for him. And now everybody's looking at Pep Guardiola. What about Erik ten Hag? Why didn't they go for him?
Yeah, Steve, thanks very much indeed for that. Look, I mean, it was harsh. We've agreed it was harsh on Lee Carsley. Andy, the Liverpool fan, says, if it's as simple as Pep coming in and winning the World Cup, why does he do so badly in the Champions League with City, who arguably have the best squad in Europe, and endless funds over 8 years here? One Champions League win with the best squad in 8 or 9 attempts. What a disgrace that is, Andy. Only one Champions League. Possibly because the demands on sides in this country are so humongous. Winning the Premier League is no walk in the park. No. Dare I suggest that, generally speaking, winning the Bundesliga or winning La Liga is much more straightforward. I'm not saying it's utterly straightforward, but if you beat your main rivals, the chances are that you win the league. Yeah.
No, it's a good point. Again, I think there are so many fascinating angles and facets to this particular story, if it's got any genuine legs. I mean, look, Pep was interviewed. Where was that in Italy, Jeff? Was it over the weekend? He was doing some television in Italy, apparently. And look, he might be just getting everyone going. He might be just winding everybody up. Who knows? He might have no intention of taking it or whatever. But I'm just staggered that the FA have now got to this point, and they're well, if they're clutching at straws a little bit, hoping that he's going to turn around and go yes, then I think they've left themselves in a very precarious position.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.